Hi, my name is Wes Stephenson, and here at this Easter time, I'd like to share with you a poem called The Price of Atonement. Sometimes it hits you right square in the eye, like it never existed before. A scripture springs forward, launched from the page as the Spirit swings open the door. And you see something new in the oldest of scripts, or at least so it seems in your mind. And you realize the Master continues his work, still opening eyes of the blind. I've long felt a reverence for Christ on the cross in the garden where blood soaked the sod. I've stood all amazed at the pain that was borne by the beloved Son sent by our God. But recently, I've had come to my mind a new adoration and awe for another who suffered as none can conceive, as Jesus brought mercy to law. I reread the story of Abraham's life and of Isaac, the son he adored, his only begotten, with Sarah his wife. But this time I read of the Lord. The parable clearly unfolded to view as the father took son to the hill, a son whom he treasured, a son who was pure, submissive to his father's will. And I sensed in the story the analogy deep, as the father took knife in his hand and looked in the still trusting eyes of his son and shrunk to obey the command. Though God stayed the knife and provided a ram, I thought on what well could have been had that father been made to complete the grim task. Just who would have suffered most then? I am a father. I treasure my sons. I know how that father would feel. I'd suffer myself 1,000 cruel deaths to save my own son from the steel. And I thought of another who witnessed a world full of wickedness, weakness, and woe. Just all the more reason to treasure his son, walking blameless mongst mortals below. And when the time came for the debt to be paid, for the vile, the crass, the profane, this one perfect son was brought to the hill to receive every whit of their pain. That father looked down in those still trusting eyes as his son pled, "Remove, please, this cup." When that son told that father, "But thy will be done," the knife, so to speak, was raised up. The pain was applied, the agonies poured upon the obedient son. All guilt, all reproof, all stench of all crimes were his, though deserving of none. That son cried, "Where art thou?" as the father withdrew, to allow the full weight of all sin to press down upon this most spotless of sons. What heartache that father felt then! But man was atoned, and Satan defied, and life conquered death for all time. His olive branch lowered to rescue our souls if we're but willing to climb. Abraham's story brought awareness anew of all that was suffered for me. How grateful I am for the blood of the Lamb. But now even more do I see. The price of atonement was earth's dearest blood, and anguish that's fathomed by none, except by that Father who so loved us all. He suffered to pay with his Son.